perspective, every business is different. So what matters most is going to be the assessment when you're taking out the insurance policy, all right? Because that is what's going to determine the level of risk. It's going to determine once they look at it, they're going to be able to determine the level of risk, confirm whether they can actually be able to insure it, and then based on how big the business is or how much stock you have, then they will be able to come and say this is the premium you're supposed to pay. For instance, let's say, for instance, now for me, when I look at it, and I'll just relate this to now maybe home insurance. Home insurance for a business, a home that is got, you're insuring close to maybe about 800,000 bob, you'll be paying about 15,000 shillings for a year. Now, if you look at it and say, okay, this is maybe up to 1 million shillings, and I'm paying about 15,000 or let's say 12,000 per year for that particular insurance policy. So the premium is 12,000. That means it's 1,000 shillings per year. We need to, number one, we need to get insurance companies to get to the place where they can allow you to be able to pay it in bits, so that it's not the whole 12,000. Because I know for the small trader, and that's what Kagwe is saying, that for the small trader, it's gonna be very difficult to get a whole 12,000 shillings. But then once you're able to pay that, you can imagine, yes, it's 12,000 in a year, but then if something happens and maybe your house burns down, or let's say, for instance, your business burns down, and you're able to get, even if it's maybe 500, 600,000 shillings, you're not starting from zero. But then without that insurance policy, you're going to be starting from zero. And for many people, that is going to be a nightmare. And it's not just for the small traders as well, because I'm looking at it. Last week, we've been planning for a conference since February, and it was supposed to have been last week, 26th to 28th. Now, unfortunately, because of what was happening, we were expecting more than 300 medics to be able to register, to pay in, and they had confirmed that yes, we will be coming for this thing. But at the last minute, because of what was happening, most of them did not pay. We only had about 10 people who paid. Now you can imagine, we've already paid for international speakers, we've done all these things, we've paid for the hotel and everything. So we already ran at a loss. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for us, I'm talking about insurance, but we had not insured that particular conference. So you can imagine when you're expecting to make money out of a conference, but now we're having to dig into our own pockets to pay for the services that we got, to pay for the air tickets for the speakers who came in, because some of them are just, they got here by the time this was happening. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, we are actually maybe having to either borrow or dig into our pockets to do that. Now, if we had taken insurance for this particular conference, chances are that we would have been sitting pretty. So this is also a learning point, even for me as well, as I'm talking about it.
Right. And Edwin, before we listen to what residents of Laikipia say, some of these events come, let's say, annually, for example. They are not events that will probably happen every single month. Some of these political kind of tensions. I'm saying the last time we even had a similar was last year around